Good God Almighty. What the fuck is up with my hair? Look at this bullshit. Uh, you know, jazz is the only real music that's gonna last. All that other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow. Wise fucking word. Oh shit. I got Big Logic out here. Edits inbound. Oh yeah, hard edits. Yeah, they're not ready for these edits. Let me tell you. They can't, the mainstream publishing industry, they don't want to fuck with this. Nobody wants to fuck with this. That's why we're here. Because this shit is so bad. It needs a helping hand. All right, what do we got here? Give a few seconds for the stragglers to file in. Nose is all stuffed up, sounding like a... Oh, cool. I added a mouse so that I can fucking ban people in the IRC chat from afar. Look at this shit. Yeah. Wireless. Never got to plug it in. Wireless. Never getting away with this shit again. I don't fucking know. Yeah, Merry Christmas there, Logic. And what are we drinking today? We got this marketing gimmick of lime and cherry fucking La Croix. And a special treat today. We got the coconut nitro brew. So I like coconuts and I like nitro brew. So it seems like a match made in 9/11 for this guy right there. It was saying that you should shake up the coffee. It seems to kind of work. Yeah, like frost it up a little bit. I could see that working. I'm seeing people chatting hard from India. What were you saying 5 minutes ago? Oh, that rap? Which rap? Yeah, I'm a little out of it, to tell you the truth. But we're gonna have to get back into this shit because it's important. Yeah, I want this to be the greatest novel of our ages, but I don't know. All right, so drinking Green Monster, singing raps in the shower. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, he's ready for this fucking day. All right, well, let's get down to it. I don't think we need a poem this morning. I'm ready to rock. Ooh, it's a Garbuglio chapter. Oh, fuck. All right, so just getting into this shit. When we're working on Garbuglio, we want to make him like a little bit more sinister in this motherfucker. When I did the backstory for him, I was like, what, what's the reason why this ambitious, like, wants to be Dr. Phil type pop psychologist is in this shitty little town in Maine? So I think there had to be some scandal associated with young Garbuglio out there. That's my theory on the matter. I don't know how y'all feel about it there. Yeah, I planned to do a radio show last night, but I just had not been sleeping well for days and days. I got to have like a regular bedtime, and I got to hammer down some more exercise. So when we break for the first section of this writing stream today, I'm probably going to lift some weights. I don't really have to do anything else today. I guess I'm sort of working from home, but people need to not bother me. That's how I feel about this situation. So yeah, with big chapter 25 done. Oh shit, I did forget something. Did I already come up with some scandals for Garbuglio? Yeah, probably some sex shit. Hold on, let me fix something. Simply rapping a wonderful Christmas time. Shout outs to having a wunderbar Christmas time out there. I hope y'all got the shit that you wanted. or at least the shit that you needed. And that if you tried sometimes, you also got what you need there. All right. So the first thing we got to do with this chapter is I want to take off the indent on the first thing. Yeah, I like having the first paragraph indented, just so it just makes it feel like a start. All right. This is not a good start to the center. Freya stared up at the big painting. Ooh, yeah, this is needs help. All right, what are we trying to get across here? Freya stared at the wall in Dr. Garboglia's office. Her eyes caught tracing the iridescent streams of color weaving through mesas of stark white. Wait, there we go. Not Mache. Fucking Get this shit straight. What's the French word for trap? Le trap. Ooh, I like. Uh, it's wild. I wonder if I can get away with it. It seems a little strained, in all honesty. Ooh, yeah. I like that. Okay. So anytime we use something in a language that I do not speak fluently, we do that. And I think the way that I'm going to try and handle translations in this, because there are a few spots where they just directly have the what you want to call it. There are a few spots in this book where we just directly use Russian in a few places, Finnish in a few other places. And I think the way that I want to handle, if I wind up typesetting this book, the way that I want to do it is at footnotes on the same page. Um, so where we'll just like asterisk footnote at the bottom with the, I don't want people flipping to the fucking back of this page. Um, but I like the idea of a painting called Trap the Eye. Get back here, pages. Don't reveal my tainted web history. Mm. Oh shit, that's how Loeb Classical Library does it with footnotes about translation. Yeah, I don't want to have to flip back in a footnote. So one thing that you can do in Kindle books is Kindle has a thing called X-ray, right? And I've never really put the time in to fuck with it, but they basically have this thing where within your Kindle you can click on a word and it'll tell you a little something about the character or look into like a Wikipedia article or something like that. This is something nerds can really get a hard on for. They like cramming their books with all sorts of little tidbits of information and everything. So it might be a good way to, you have like, I mean, there are a few ways to go about it. One is like just on this line, we could say the title of the, how do you pronounce PJ? Let me get it in on this. I want to, hold on. Let me make that weird E.
Piège.
Piège. Piège l'oil. Uh, all right, so piège, and then
The word for eye is l'œil.
l'oil.
L'œil.
L'oil.
Now you try it.
I just did, motherfucker. Piège l'oil. It's awful. I really wish that I had spent my 20s just traveling around in Europe and picking up languages instead of sitting in a hotel and playing World of Warcraft. I'm just putting it out there. Piège l'oil. The title of the giant painting in Dr. Garbuglio's office was Piège l'oil. It was apt. Freya's eyes were often caught in the streams of iridescent color as they wove through the... Okay. Yeah, we just spent 20 minutes on that fucking paragraph for some reason. I'm happy that I get a chance to say piège l'oil. Oh god, I've already forgotten. L'oil. L'oil. The title of the giant painting in Dr. Garbuglio's office was Piège l'oeil. He was apt. Freya's eyes were often caught in the streams of iridescent color as they wove through. It was such a weird painting. Really, everything about the office was just a little off. They'd gotten rid of whatever was making that burnt orange smell. She wondered if someone had complained. Now the air smelled a little like tobacco. Not the smoke, but the way cigars smelled before they were lit. Don't tell your mother, Randall always used to say when he'd light one up as they were stargazing. though of course she never would. She never told Lasse anything. What was going to happen to the two of them? It had been 3 days since Freya had seen her mother. They hadn't spoken, not so much as a post-it note. So actually, yeah, okay. So she saw her mother last on Monday morning. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, yeah, so it's indeed 3 days. That's accurate. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Uh, for the first time, she wanted to come to this appointment. Even if it was Dr. Garbuglio, she really needed someone to talk to. She reminded herself she needed to be careful. He was still a danger. So much was sloshing around in her unresolved. If she let the oh yeah, this is an important paragraph. But all right, hold up. Hell yeah, ancient craft vet. Ooh, yeah, it's dope to like have a mouse where I can check the chat and see what's going down there. God, I hate being fucking congested, man. Wait, hold on. Is one of these sides green screenable? No, it's the wrong. Well, it's a little bit. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's a little bit green screened. Maybe I should just get some green screen colored cups, so I'm always miming drinking. um, it was the first time she'd actually wanted to come to this office. She really needed to talk with someone, even if it was Dr. Garbuglio. Hell yeah. Freya reminded herself to be careful this session. So much was sloshing around in her unresolved. If she let too much go, the whole dam might burst. Okay, so one thing that you're going to see again and again in this book is when we have a metaphor involving Freya, it's always a water metaphor. And this is just a stylistic choice. But just about all the things that all the times that we describe Freya, if we have the option to, I want to tie it back into the river, and I want to tie her nature into water. And this is just a, we're not like fucking getting too into it. We're not gonna have earth, fire, wind, heart. No, not saying fucking Captain Planet, but Colgate for the Juggernaut. But yeah, that's just one thing that I want to do, and I want her nature to be not. You can't have like a totally passive protagonist, but we want that to be a part of it. Make reference to her being a water sign like Pisces. I think she's a Gemini in this book for reasons you'll soon see. But yeah, they're we try to keep the astrology shit to the minimum that you can include in the book and still have fat women with cats read it. So yeah, just FYI, I would love to have your money. Fat women with cats, no shame in the game. You are large and you do have cats. I'm just putting it out there. And fucking your star sign tattooed. I love the part where like the whole zodiac is off by like a sign because people never compensated for the math or they never really compensated for orbital wobble and are like transitioning through the universe and everything. So every one of those, oh, I'm so Taurus or whatever, and they're really like a fucking goat, not a bull or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. That's just that's how ridiculous you look when you think that. Although honestly, if we really want to dive into that, the idea of I guess really like it's just people don't understand inverse square law and precession of the equinox. I mean, I'll tell you one thing about it. At least all this astrology shit sounds cool. It sounds like a lot more interesting than I'm an INTJ, and that's why I'm an insufferable cunt. Like we get it. So at least injecting a little mysticism makes it more tolerable. But every time somebody's like, "Well, what sign are you?" You just are like, people are all the same, and then you just say it in like this really disappointed way. And it's like, well, I'm an ENFP. It's like, yeah, but you're the same as everybody else. And you just say it and like this, it just sucks all the life right out of that bullshit. It's like, yeah, they eat, they shit, they breathe, they die. Nothing changes. That's the one thing I miss about going on so many like constant dates and everything. Just the opportunity to, if it wasn't going well, and you're like, I don't want to have sex with this person, you could just drop such weird shit on them in conversation. What fantastic trolling. Anyhow. Oh, so the precession of the equinox is the legit term for the 21,000 year wobbling of the constellations. It's fantastic. I love that. I really like the choice of making the stars and celestial bodies like such a big deal in this book. Like constellations pop up all the time. We're getting into like meteorites and jazz. My sign is the one that's most sexually compatible with yours. I've never really tried that. I think that would result in me not like getting laid. Oh. Yeah, I've been with just one woman for like the last 6 months. Haven't even cheated on her. And not planning to if I can help it. That's fucking amazing. Yeah, I don't know what the future holds. It might be some gorgeous fucking, I don't know, redhead throwing herself at me, but I doubt it. It hasn't been a problem before. All right, well, that's good. I needed that comedy break from this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's the name of this office building? Let's. Okay, so we're in chapter 26. Let's go back. What's the name of this? Emerson Street office. Oh, yeah. We're doing it. Oh, I love that. No, we're actually on chapter 27 here. Ballin'. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the reason we're not saying, like, it would make more sense to just say Dr. Garbaglio's office, but we want to have the next line be Garbaglio, and Garbaglio. That's 4 syllables, and that's too much to just, you don't want to be like Garbaglio, and drive you fucking mad. It was the first time she'd actually wanted to come to the office at 777 Emerson. Freya really needed to talk with someone, even if it was Dr. Garboglio. He was still a danger. So much was sloshing around in her unresolved. She felt if perfect. The dam might bust. I like the way that sounds, but I don't think that's how our train of thought would work. She heard the door open behind her, and when Dr. The door opened behind her. Dr. Garboglio took his place, and Freya was surprised to see he had a black eye. A pretty good one, too. She tapped the corner of her eye, a mannerism lifted from Vitko. A mannerism she'd lifted from Vitko. Dr. Garboglio nodded stiffly in acknowledgement. I have a patient with Tourette's, and one of her tics is punching. This is not her fault. We're adjusting her medication, and I wasn't careful enough, he explained, with a little self-deprecating shrug. All right, so let's try that again. The door opened behind her. Dr. Garboglio took his place, and Freya was surprised to see he had a black eye. Pretty good one, too. She tapped the corner of her eye, a mannerism she'd lifted from Vitko. Dr. Garboglio nodded stiffly in acknowledgement. I have a patient with Tourette's, and one of her tics is punching. This is not her fault. We're adjusting her medication, and I was not careful enough, he explains. He explained, with a little self-deprecating shrug. Now I know how you must have felt. I've had to give the same explanation about the eye about 500 times. Now I know how you must have felt. I've had to explain why I have a black eye about 500 times. Try Krav Maga. We do a lot of work on blocking, Freya offered as a little joke. Dr. Garboglio didn't laugh, but he did smile. It was one of those tight smiles where she couldn't tell if he was angry or not. Maybe I should. How's that going? He changed the subject. Maybe I should. How's that going? Dr. Garboglio changed the subject. He was pretty good at hiding how he felt. I really like Vitko. He gave me some good advice, Freya said, just as eager to change the subject as he. I really like Vitko. He gave me some good advice, Freya said, eager to talk about it. I've been having some trouble sleeping, and he suggested doing a long run. It worked really well. It worked really well. I did 5 miles before bed last night. I feel so much better today. I really like Vitko. He gave me some good advice, Freya said. She was eager to talk about it. I've been having some trouble sleeping, and he suggested running. I'd been... mm-hmm. I've been having some trouble sleeping. He suggested running a lot before bed to tire me out. He worked really well. I did 5 miles before bed last night. I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping. I really like Vitko. He gave me some good advice, Freya said. She was eager to talk about it. I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping, and he suggested I try running. I wound up running 5 miles before bed last night. I finally got some... yeah, that's not how people talk. I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping, and he suggested I try running. Okay, so the idea, this is a very solid comment right here. The logic is made, where he says, instead of I wasn't careful enough, he could say something about the patient's response to medication not being predictable. Since he's a narcissistic shit sack, he should externalize the blame. That's a good one. And I think it's like a strong idea. But in this particular case, I haven't read through this chapter, but I think we actually toned down his shittiness a little bit. So the black eye is Garbuglio displaying some vulnerability so that Freya will relate to him. And in fact, it's not a like a coincidence that he has like the exact same injury that she had. I think he needs to reel her in a little bit before he can start being creepy. Because if somebody's just like creepy out of the gate, she'll never engage with them on an emotional level. So we want to, I think, when we talk about how weird the office is up here, where we in the strange painting and the way that he makes her wait to sit down, that's like the addition there, like him waiting for him, making everybody wait before he gets down, so they're like stewing and so forth. That's the line where we're like, he's kind of toying with people a little bit. Even if he has like a reason for it or whatever here. But here we also need to make his character more vulnerable because he has a ton of authority in their relationship. And so far, outside of her calling him on like doing like the cheap, just repeating the last word somebody said trick, she really has not like, scored any power in this relationship or whatever. So I do want to humanize him a little bit so that it's more of a like when he winds up being slightly creepier than he was in the previous draft. So good point and everything. But also like we're balancing like a lot of different things with this character. We do want him to as much as like his book is horseshit and he's like a little up his own ass and everything, we do want him to be an effective therapist and to like actually care about his patients and so forth. And I think if he shifts the blame onto somebody with Tourette's here, we'll go too far into the unrelatable character aspect of it. So yeah, like really good note there. I'm not going to implement it at this time, but it's definitely when we take stock of the total arc of that character, this is a place where we might consider shifting the blame. So let me make a comment. Yeah. So if we want to make him into a monster, we can if we all pull together as a team. But I think I'm okay with where this is now, especially in the face of how we shifted a bunch of the other things around here. Mm. Yeah, man, it's all such a delicate balance. All this shit. I really, really enjoy like just the tiny little adjustments you can make to stuff, like you're EQing a mix or something like that. Okay, let's see. I really like Vitko. He gave me some. It seems genuine, like he really cares. Last night I could. No, yeah, that's too much. I think he's genuine. He's kind of crazy, but he means well. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like. Yeah, I don't like what we've done there. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, let me see. Why runners can be prone to insomnia. Oh shit. Mm-hmm. So what do we have here? What do you mean? Running isn't the escape from reality. The escape from yeah, like so oh, here's a spot where I can put their two advices at odds with each other. This is perfect. Mm-hmm. Overtraining syndrome. Let me see. Insomnia while training. Post run insomnia. Blah blah blah. Fuck off, Runner's World. Okay. Yeah, this is garbage. Mm-hmm. How long did she 14 hours. Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. Generally not advice I would give. The adrenaline from running can definitely make it harder to get to sleep. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Jeff the Zoomer says, "Say I'm gay, I will donate." You do not have to donate, but I am gay. I have had sex with men, so yeah, like I hope that does it for you. And maybe someday you'll find the courage too to admit that you are a fellow gay man. But generally, I prefer the company of women for some reason. I don't know, just the way that I'm wired. But yeah, like I am a gay. The end. uh, Let me see. What do we got? We got a conversation about running going there. Logic says that humans are. Yeah, Logic is also gay for donation. I would, you know, $20 is $20. Until it doesn't, though. Humans are endurance hunters, chasing fat animals across the planet until they die. It stops hurting after a while. I don't know. Yeah, I'm one of those people who's never been able to get like that runner's high or anything, but I think it's because I'm like too much of a pussy. I just like, this hurts. Like, I feel like throwing up, and I just stop, and I never really get to the spot where, it helps that like all my friends who are like runners fucking injure themselves. I try to go swimming at the YMCA, but I literally have not been in a month or more. So what I'm trying to do with Gravid, so I fixed my diet, and like in the next week, my goal is to stop drinking almost entirely if I possibly can, and to get to bed at about 9 o'clock every night. If I can do that, and I can, let's see. Oh well, CJ loves me even if I'm a gay. Well, that's all you really need. Like people are all the fucking same. It doesn't matter if you're gay or double gay or nega gay or whatever. We're all about the same. We all want the same things. We're all going to the same place, hell. So yeah, we just don't need to be squabbling with each other over irrelevant distinctions between us. Real talk. But I digress. I wonder how many times I'm going to say I digress in this 100-day fucking stream right there. That's not the advice I would generally give. A lot of people can find adrenaline from running. It keeps them awake. We see a lot of inside. All right, but reading that way is useless. All right, let's try this dialogue again. Tribe Krav Maga. We do a lot of work on blocking, Freya offered as a little joke. Dr. Garbuglio didn't laugh, but he did smile. It was one of those tight smiles where she couldn't tell if she was angry or not. It was one of those tight smiles where she couldn't tell if he was angry or not. God, get it straight. It was one of those tight smiles where she couldn't tell if he was angry or not. Maybe I should. How's that going? Dr. Garbuglio changed the subject. He was pretty good at hiding how he felt. I really like Vicko, Freya said. What do you like about him? She stopped for a moment to think about it. I think he's genuine. He gave me some good advice last night. What was that? Well, I was just sucking in class because I was so tired. Hmm. I hadn't slept well since the thing with Lassa. Jiggity jive. What the hell is that? He's, he spoke with me after class and suggested I try running. Hmm. He He spoke with me after class and suggested I try running laps before bed. I see. Well, that's not advice I would generally give, Freya. A lot of people find the adrenaline from running keeps them awake. What is like? See, let me see. We need to get like more into like the cortisol. There's like a cortisol reaction. Increased cortisol. It's an acute exercise. Mm-hmm. High levels of cortisol. Okay. Give the character more emotional spatial than a piece of silverware? What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck that's talking about. I see. Well, generally, that's not advice I would give, Freya. A lot of people find the adrenaline from running keeps them awake. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck she's trying to say there. Like, you got to spell that out a little bit more. Yeah, oh yeah. Like, just FYI, like, if possible, don't troll the writing stream. Like, if yeah, just I'm much happier when people are actively trying to help out than trolling here. I mean, you know, people are going to troll, but yeah, like I try to take suggestions seriously where possible. So, I mean, if that is a real critique, by all means. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. Eventually, like if the stream got super huge, we might have like one of those Bob Ross type things where like, oh, saved, oh, fail, etc. You know, oh. Well, you got to be more specific than that because I don't understand what you're saying there. Okay, okay, weird. It worked great. So CJ is about to go running before I go cry. Yeah, if you could measure your cortisol levels before and afterwards, so we can get some research on the book there. Real talk. Let's see. Well, that's not advice I would generally give, Freya. Your cortisol levels elevate after running. I see a lot of insomnia in athletes who are in training. I see a lot of insomnia in athletes. No, I'm fucking kidding. You can't. Of course, you can't measure that. Mm. Oh. Let's see. I see. Well, that's not advice I would generally give, Freya. Well, it worked really well for me, Freya said, crossing her arms. Well, crossing her arms is like so. Hmm. What's this motion like that? It worked really well for me, Freya said, crossing her arms. I finally got some sleep. I bet this is arms folded. Arms folded, mask off. Hold up. Mm-hmm. Uh, mm. Would somebody do that? It seems like a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't seem. I mean, I've absolutely seen people like kind of do this number, but I think it's too much. Hmm. Hmm. Let me see. Hmm. 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 Okay, cool. So I like that we've turned this into a little point of tension here. Okay, yeah, have fun in your run there, and try not to cry, or at least if you do, have it be a character arc defining weep that leads you to your true purpose in unveiling the mystery of the star ball. Real talk. I hadn't slept well since the thing with Lassa, and I was just exhausted. He spoke with me after class and suggested I try running laps before bed. I see. Well, that's not advice I would generally give, Freya. Your cortisol levels elevate after running. I see a lot of insomnia in athletes. Dr. Garbuglio's voice was tinged with pique. Oh, yeah, tinged with pique is not a good way. Uh, let me see. 2 or 3 weeks. No way, man. Wouldn't have gotten anything done. I got work to do. Well, that's not advice I would generally give, Freya. Your cortisol levels elevate after running. I see a lot of insomnia in athletes. Mm. What's the best way to express this emotion here? Hmm. I think I use eyes narrowed way too much. Hmm. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's just way too much show not tell. Ugh, this is a hard fucking thing. Yeah. Yeah, I will tell you, like, anything that uh, mm, mm. Yeah, I'm not a fan of what has transpired above my head right here. I don't want to get into that while I'm like editing. But yeah, this is work for me here. But let's clear our minds and try to progress through. So what I want to say here is this is like a kind of like a snarky, shitty reply from I mean, he's right too. You know, like that's terrible advice to just run laps before bed, and it just happens to work in this particular circumstance. The condescending Dr. Garbuglio from her first session had returned. Freya drew an air through her nose. I don't like drew an air through her nose. Uh, what's yeah, this is hard to visualize this conversation right here. What? How would you respond to like so somebody comes in and we're like, well, actually, I believe what you're calling Linux is actually GNU or GNU plus Linux, and you're just like, oh yeah, Hmm. Hmm. Let me interject for a moment. What's the developmental goals of this conversation here? So we're just we're struggling a little bit on getting this point to sound realistic there. Um, but I have to read the rest of the chapter to remember exactly where I was going with it. Right now, I'm like happy with him being a little at odds with Vidko here, and I want to have like a little clash between the two of them before this next part. Dr. Garbuglienstein. Let me see if that fixed the autocorrect. God, I love that. Let me interject for a moment. I wonder if that began as copy paste or if it was actually like somebody literally, because you could so see it's like perfectly captures the voice of Linux Autist right there, just absolutely perfectly. Somebody paste that copy paste if you can there. So uh, okay, I'm sure you're right. Freya equivocated, not wanting to be accused of being defensive. It did work for me though. I got a good line of. Okay, cool. So I don't want. I think the condescending part is there. I like where she. Okay, I like this much better in this conversation. This is a much stronger choice here, where she. It was an email to a technical podcast. I have it somewhere. Oh my god, paste that shit. I'll read it aloud. Shout out to Samsung TV there, who I think is Echelon, but I'm not sure. I can't remember if it's Echelon or somebody else from MDE. But $1 Million Extreme. So yeah, it's real important to get the alt-right I hate Jews perspective on this novel that has like nothing to do whatsoever with it. When are you alt-right guys gonna learn? Just you're finished. That's all there is to it. It's been decided. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure that my downstairs neighbors are gonna love that one. But that's what it is. Everyone is different, he said. Okay, I'm sure you're right, Freya equivocated. Let me make sure that I'm using equivocated right there. I think I'm right. Using ambiguous language so as to conceal the truth or avoid committing oneself. I think, yeah, that's equivocated is fine there. Someone put Spellbinder as the autocorrect for Spielberg. Huh. Let me see. Well, is that because Spielberg's movies are spellbinding? Hold on, let me see. What's my favorite Spielberg? I thought Schindler's List was okay. I didn't like E.T. Loved Jurassic Park. Thought it was fucking amazing. Oh, they're redoing West Side Story. Saving Private Ryan was good. Indiana Jones 5 was dog shit. Raiders of the Lost Ark was great. Catch Me If You Can was good. I didn't see War of the Worlds. The initial Back to the Future, I was all right. I'm okay with it. I didn't see AI. Didn't see Tintin. Didn't see the BFG. Didn't see Munich. Gremlins, I thought was okay. Didn't see Bridge of Spies. I thought Minority Report was fucking amazing. I loved Empire of the Sun. Loved Temple of Doom. It's fucking amazing. I didn't see Poltergeist. Jurassic World was dog shit. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, awful, fucking awful. Last Crusade was amazing. I think we've gone over some of these. Transformers suck dick. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's iconic, if nothing else. I heard Members of a Geisha was good, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Letters from Iwo Jima. I haven't seen Amblin. Wonder what that's all about. Yeah, so in general, like some really good movies from this cat. So maybe he is spellbinding. But what do we got here? Everyone is different, he said, letting it drop. Okay, so this is kind of like, I think this is a realistic conversation point right here. Maybe I should. How's that going? Dr. Garbuglio changed the subject. He was pretty good at hiding how he felt. Well, I really like Vitko, Freya said. What do you like about him? She stopped for a moment to think about it. I think he's genuine. He gave me good advice last night. What was that? I hadn't slept well since the thing with Lassa, and I was just exhausted. He spoke with me after class and suggested I try running laps before bed. I see. Well, that's not advice I would generally give, Freya. Your cortisol levels elevate after running. I see a lot of insomnia with athletes. Freya tried not to roll her eyes at his tone, but she must have done something, because Dr. Garboglio began watching her intently. Okay. It reminded her of her first session with him. Okay, cool. Freya tried not to roll her eyes at his tone, but she must have done something because Dr. Garboglio began watching her intently. It reminded her unpleasantly of her first session with him. I'm sure you're right, Freya equivocated, not wanting to be accused of being defensive. It did work for me, though. I got a good night of sleep for the first time. I got a good night of sleep and I feel much better today. She was careful not to tell him she'd slept for 14 hours or that she hadn't gone to school today. Those seemed dangerous to reveal. I like that. Let me see. Everyone is different, he said, letting it drop. How far did you run and how did you feel about it? Oh, so I just wanted to shout out to Catch Me If You Can, which has like this underlying note of like sadness and despair running through it. I guess because it's based on a true story, but it just, yeah, it's like kind of a, has that like washed out daytime TV. I don't know if it's something with like the audio design or whatever, but some things just make me feel like I'm wasting my life. And that movie definitely made me feel like I was wasting my life while watching it. Not necessarily like in a terrible way, but it's one where I never want to watch that movie again. So, real talk. Everyone is different, he said, letting it drop. How far did you run and how did you feel about it? 5 miles. And I was wiped out, but I slept really well for the first time since Monday. Okay. I was totally wiped out, but I really needed it. Okay. It's good to hear you got some sleep. Some of your teachers were worried about you, and they contacted your mother. I hope you don't have to run a marathon every night just to get some sleep. Did you read the first chapter of my book? Okay, cool. Yeah, this is not a solid. Yeah, in general, I feel like we're gonna have to do a lot of fucking. We're gonna have to do a ton of work on any chapter where she's working with Garboglio, because dialogue is relatively difficult, and getting dialogue that feels natural really needs like a lot of polish and work and everything. So it's good to hear you got some sleep. Some of your teachers. Hmm. Mhm. Yes. Lasso ordered me some blackout curtains, but the ones she wants to match the room are back ordered. They'll take a while to arrive. She did get me a clock without the light, though. She vetoed the whole 65-degree thing. Yes, she ordered some blackout curtains, but the ones she wants to match the room are back ordered, so they won't come for a while. I'll talk with her. Yes, she ordered some blackout curtains, but the ones she wants to match the room are back ordered. They won't come for a while. She vetoed keeping the house 65 degrees. I'll talk with her. It really does work. I sleep the same way myself. What about your phone? Are you leaving it outside your room? I haven't been doing that, Freya admitted, with a slight wince, like she was telling a dentist she hadn't been flossing. Okay. That's not a big problem, but of course it will help if you can follow the whole program. It really is the sum of its parts. Do you mind if I ask why you don't? It makes me anxious thinking Lasso will find it and go through it, Freya said, though that wasn't the real reason. It had just seemed like a stupid thing to do, but she didn't want to make him feel worse by telling him that. Hmm. Okay. Let's read through this next thing before we, No. So we do the return to Garboglio 1 here. It just seems stupid, but she didn't want to tell him that and make him feel worse. He was already having a rough time of it with his black eye. Freya had a dumb thought it might not be a real black eye. Would he do something like that? She looked closely. The way his skin was a puffy purple blue with that greenish sheen, there was no way it was fake. It was real, and that meant no ploy. Oh, this is stupid. Why do we even fucking have this in here? It makes me anxious thinking Lasso will find it and go through it, Freya said, though that wasn't the real reason. It just seems stupid. Would your mother go through your phone without asking you? Dr. Garbaglio asked. He'd been thinking a while she scrutinized his black eye. Yeah. Let's just cut that. Would your mother look through your phone without asking you? Yes, absolutely. Dr. Garbaglio said, and he left it at that. He must have had a beard at some point, because he did a motion like he wanted to tug at one when he disapproved of something. Freya wondered what was going on in his mind. He was Okay. Dr. Garbaglio said, and he left it at that. He must have had a beard at some point, because he did a motion like he wanted to tug at one when he disapproved of something. Okay. So, I forgot that we put this tell in there. Let's, Dr. Garbaglio tugged at the side of his cheek. Dr. Garbaglio tugged at his chin and his brow furrowed. I see. Well, that's not. Oh, that's. Yeah. Okay, so I like the physicality of that right there. Man, we're really diving deep on getting this shit right here. Yeah, so I had somebody on FNet message me. Wait. Let me see you there. Yeah, I don't know. Samsung TV. You know, like what's your identity other than that? You know what I mean? Like this stream has nothing to do with race. I don't think that there is one black person in this entire. Oh no, that's not true. We have the Jazzbo scene later on, but yeah, like this has nothing to fucking do with that. Like I don't give a shit. You know, I live in Brooklyn. I just have never really cared about that particular issue. And like, who are you trying to reach? There are like 3 people in this audience. You're not impressing me. Like, I don't know what you're fucking doing, man. Ugh, you're just losing load faction points with every dumb fucking message that you send. But then why was the link on Daily Stormer? Wait, did somebody link this on fucking Daily Stormer? God, fucking Orenheimer. It's awful. It's not on actually on Daily Stormer because we would be flooded with people calling me a cuckold right now, and I would have to lay it all out on Orenheimer at the moment. So that's horseshit right there. But yeah, you're fucking distracting me here. I'm not trying to think about race consciousness or anything like that. I'm trying to write a heart wrenching novel, and it's very difficult at the moment. There, not helping. Um, let's see. So where were we at? So yeah, we went back there, and we're working on his tell thing. Apparently, hyperlinks. It's not on the fucking Daily Stormer. They don't even have a domain anymore. Are they fucking? Do they finally find a registrar, or are they still like in Tor negative land? I'm not gonna install fucking Tor to watch a troll website by people larping as racists. I'm not fucking doing it. Mm. Yeah, I don't think I ever laughed at almost any of their articles. There were a few where they were just like so far beyond the pale. Gopher serving, fucking Gopher. It's been a long time. All right, let me get back to this here. Freya realized he must have had a. Freya realized he must have had a beard at some point. She noticed he acted like he wanted to tug one. Freya wondered what was going on in his mind. Freya wondered what was going on in his mind. Dr. Garboglio was taking more time to think this session. She wondered if he was just shaken up. She wasn't sure if he was just shaken up from getting hit or if he was strategizing, like a stronger chess player who was 2 moves ahead of her. At last he settled on an approach. She could almost see the wheels turning. He dropped the thing about the phone and went in another direction. So, Lassa. So we go into the Lunesta a little bit here. She did. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Did you read the first chapter of my book? Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. I did not agree with your mother's decision to take you off Lunesta. I wish she'd talked with me about it first. Dr. Garbaglio was... Mm-hmm. I don't agree with your mother's decision to take you off Lunesta. I think it's premature, and I wish she'd talk with me about it first. Dr. Garbaglio was speaking carefully now. Every word was measured. Probably he had rehearsed what he wanted to say about this. I mentioned that to her. She said your opinion was irrelevant, Freya said. Immediately she regretted. He had an expression like he'd been faintly slapped. It took him a few beats to soak it in. She had time to think about why she'd said it. Hmm. She shouldn't have said it that way. Freya wished she hadn't said that. She wanted to get Dr. Garbuglio on her side, to hear him say that Lasso was wrong, but now she felt vindictive and petty. The conversation died, and it took visible effort for Dr. Garbuglio to restart it. No, that's too far. Ultimately, it's her choice as your guardian, unless I feel your health is at risk, he said, and Freya nodded to say she understood his implication. She could understand why he was talking so carefully. This could all get heavy very quickly. She also mentioned the two of you had a fight and that you weren't on speaking terms. Do you want to talk about it? Freya did, and she recounted the whole thing to him, emphasizing how she'd apologized and felt terrible. Dr. Garbuglio listened to her, asking the right questions about it, and she fleshed out the whole thing, asking the right questions. As she explained herself, she could feel some of the weight coming off the memory, like poison being drawn out of her body. Whew. Freya did, and she recounted the whole thing for him, emphasizing how she'd apologized and felt terrible. Dr. Garbuglio listened to her, asking the right questions. As Freya explained herself, she could feel some of the weight coming off the memory, like poison being drawn out of her body. Again, there was a long pause from Dr. Garbuglio while he thought about it. Freya much preferred this new rhythm to the conversation. She appreciated having some time to think herself. She hadn't realized how badly she needed to just unload the whole Lassa thing on someone. And for the first time, she felt grateful to Dr. Garbuglio. He had to just sit there and absorb all of it, just taking shots all day. He'd seemed like such a smarmy piece of shit in their first meeting. But that was just her, wasn't it? She was the one. That was why no one talked to her. That was why she was bicycling home alone in the rain and getting beat up. That was why Betty didn't email her back, and why she'd almost drowned in the Silas River. Freya, what's on your mind? Dr. Garbuglio asked. She realized he'd been watching her think for some time. I'm so selfish. I'm just so selfish. I never should have said that to her, even if it's true. I only wanted to hurt her because she was taking something away from me. I think that's a very good assessment, but you don't have to beat yourself up over it. Grief is a fundamentally selfish thing. That's completely okay. Selfishness isn't an inherently bad thing. In fact, it's vital for survival. I don't want to be that way, Freya said. It's unavoidable. Look at he's going straight Rand on her right here. Hell yeah. It's unavoidable. Selfishness isn't an inherently bad thing. It's vital for survival. Like a lot of things, it's only when there's too much of it that it becomes a problem. Right now, you're starting to focus less on being hurt and starting to think about others. That's really great. You're healing and you're making progress. It didn't feel that way, but she didn't want to argue with him in the middle of his monologue. How many times had he given this speech? People talk about the road to recovery, but I don't like to think of it as a road. I see it more as a river. Sometimes there are bends, sometimes there are rapids, Sometimes it feels like it's carrying you in an entirely different direction. Sometimes you can swim, sometimes you have to float, but there's always progress. The river is moving all the while. Freya had become very tense while he spoke. She had the horrified feeling that he'd somehow found out everything. She had to force herself to breathe. It was just a labored metaphor. He didn't know anything. Without thinking, her hand had gone into her pocket to hold the star ball. She watched his eyes follow her hand, and they rose to meet her own. At once she knew she'd screwed up. Dr. Tarbuglio tilted his head at her pocket, and she pretended not to notice. Though he didn't move, he seemed to draw back. He recomposed his expression, becoming colder and more clinical. "What's in your pocket, Freya?" Before she could stop herself, her eyes shot to the exit. She wanted to bolt. It had to be a coincidence. He couldn't know. "Oh, it's just a marble," she said. He kept staring at her. It was clear he was not satisfied with the answer. She was surprised at how much he didn't want to show him the star ball. It took an effort of will to pull it out of her pocket. I use effort of will way too much. He had a quizzical expression. She knew she must look so awkward to him. Oh, okay. So that's where this conversation is going. Let's go back here. I think we're going to cut out some parts of his monologue there. Oh, Garbuglio chapters. Oh, God, I wonder if they're even fucking worth it, man. It's so much drama in the LVZ. Freya, what's on your mind? Dr. Garbuglio asked. She realized he'd been watching her think for some time. It's just, I'm so selfish. I should have never said that to her, even if it's true. I only wanted to hurt her because she was taking something away from me. I think that's a very good assessment, but you don't have to beat yourself up over it. Grief is a fundamentally selfish thing. Grief is fundamentally selfish. It's completely okay. Yeah, it's fucking for real. I don't want to be that way, Freya said. It's unavoidable. Selfishness isn't an inherently bad thing, by the way. Some amount of selfishness is vital for survival. Like a lot of things, it's only when there's too much of it that it becomes a problem. Right now, you're starting to focus less on being hurt and starting to think about others. It's really great. You're healing and you're making progress. It didn't feel that way, but she didn't want to argue with him in the middle of his monologue. He must have given this speech 1,000,000 times. People talk about the road to recovery, but I don't like to think of it as a road. I see it more as a river. Sometimes there are bends, sometimes there are rapids. Sometimes it even feels like you're being carried in the wrong direction. Sometimes you can swim, sometimes you have to float, but there's always progress. The river is moving all the while. Oh. Love that. It's so creepy in the background. Like, what the fuck? You know? People talk about the road to recovery, but I don't like to think of it as a road. I see it as more of a river. Sometimes there are bends, sometimes there are rapids, sometimes it feels like you're being carried in the wrong direction. Sometimes you can swim, sometimes you have to float, but there's always progress. The river is moving all the while. Freya became very tense as he spoke. Freya had become very tense as Dr. Garboglio spoke. Oh, yeah. Freya became very tense as Dr. Garboglio spoke. She had the horrible feeling that he'd somehow found out everything. Mm. Creeps creeping. Mm-hmm. So you seldom actually have to force yourself to breathe. Uh, what's a yeah. Mm-hmm. Freya became very tense as Dr. Garboglio spoke. She had the horrified feeling he'd somehow found out everything. It was just a labored metaphor. He couldn't actually know that. Without thinking her, she told herself it was just a labored metaphor. He couldn't actually know that. He couldn't actually know about the river. Without thinking, her hand had gone into her pocket to hold the star ball. As she watched his eyes follow her hand, and they rose to meet her own. At once, his eyes followed her hand and then rose to meet hers. At once, she knew she'd fucked up. Yeah, we're not PG-13 here. I think that's a fuck up more than a screw up. Dr. Garboglio tilted his head at her pocket, and she pretended not to notice. He recomposed his expression, becoming colder and more clinical. What's in your pocket, Freya? Before she could stop herself, this had to just be a weird coincidence. He couldn't actually know. Oh, it's just a marble, she said. He kept staring at her. It was clear he was not satisfied with her answer. She really... Oh, it's just a marble. Mm-hmm. What's the story there? He asked. I always have it. I fool with it sometimes when I feel anxious, she said. Freya was speaking a little too quickly. She could hear the strain in her voice. Dr. Garbuglio hadn't missed any of it. He was staring now, waiting for her to go on. She needed a better excuse, something to stop the whole line of inquiry. It's so basic, but I started carrying it around after I saw Inception, like the totem's there. I don't think I'm trapped in a dream, of course. It's, just for fun. Okay. I always have it. I fool around with it sometimes when I feel anxious. I fool with it sometimes when I feel anxious, she said. Dr. Garbuglio wasn't buying it. Freya was speaking a little too quickly. She realized she needed a better excuse, something to kill this line of inquiry. It's so basic, but I started carrying it around after I saw Inception. Like the totem's there. I don't think I'm trapped in a dream, of course. It's just for fun. Dr. Garbuglio gave him a pained look. You have no idea how many times that movie comes up in sessions. Just when people were starting... Dr. Garbuglio gave her a pained look. You don't have no idea how many times that movie comes up in sessions. Just when people were finally starting to stop bringing up The Matrix, too. That's my nemesis. I'm sorry, Freya said, throwing up her palms. We don't have to talk about it. He nodded with relief, eager to move on. He'd bought the lie. You have no idea how many times that movie comes up in sessions. Before that, it was The Matrix. I'm sorry, Freya said, throwing up her palms. We totally don't have to talk about it. Sorry about that, Freya said, throwing up her palms. We totally don't have to talk about it. He nodded with relief, eager to move on. Jane was the one who had started carrying around a little silver top. Oh, this is an awful sentence. Ugh. Yeah, super annoying. Whew. All right, let's power through this chapter and then take a break. But there will be another session later today. Mm. Mm. Ooh, yeah, this is a fucking tough. Like, why did I think I could shoehorn this shit in here? It's awful. Hmm. Ugh, this is so strained. Need more fucking coffee. But uh, uh, let's hmm. trying to think. What's a the Iliad? Oh, dreams.com. Let me see. Ooh, we shall meet in the place where there is no darkness. I just watched a Muppet Christmas Carol last night. It's, it's weird. All right. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, this is really getting into the fucking weeds. Okay. He nodded with relief, eager to move on. He started giving another prepared speech about reconciliation, and Freya nodded along. It was actually Jane Yang who'd gotten nuts about Inception. After the three of them watched the movie, she wouldn't shut up about it. She even bought an expensive top online and carried it everywhere. Freya thought it was just awful, but she kept it to herself. Betty liked anything that had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Why did fucking Siri start recording that? Wait, what? Let me try reading that again. Let me see if that happens again. He nodded with relief, eager to move on. He started giving another prepared speech, and Freya nodded along, about reconciliation, and Freya nodded along. It was actually Jane Yang who'd gotten nuts about Inception. After the three of them watched the movie, she wouldn't shut up about it. She even bought an expensive top online and carried it everywhere. Freya thought it was just awful, but she kept it to herself. Betty liked anything that had Leonardo DiCaprio. Betty liked anything that had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Finally, she'd had the chance to do a movie. Yeah, am I out of mana here? How long do I have to go in this fucking chapter? Okay, cool. Hmm. Ah. Oh. Oh, why am I trying to save this fucking super slam on Inception? Nobody gives a shit. This is taking place fucking in the year 2029. That'd be like me waiting to save up a diss on Coming to America or something like that. Although yeah, like I don't know, let's just power through it. Yeah, fuck Ethan Frome. It's a structural mess designed to make stupid people feel profound, Freya had opined. Mr. Rutteridge had laughed out loud at his desk. It was one of her favorite memories of him. For the 100th time, she wished she could just take his class again instead of American literature with Mr. Galilee. She was already sick of Ethan Frome, and they weren't even halfway through it. She realized she'd been drifting for some time, and Dr. Garboglio was just patiently waiting for her to come back. He glanced up at the clock. Sorry, I've been a little out of it the past few days. I keep drifting off, Freya said, and that at least was true. She was actually kind of enjoying the drifting feeling. It seemed like everything was less important. That's a pretty common thing for people who are discontinuing Lunesta. It should pass within a week or two. That's common for people who are discontinuing Lunesta. Oh, yeah. Much better. That's common for people who are discontinuing Lunesta. It should pass within a week or two. If you feel yourself starting to have a panic attack or starting having intrusive thoughts, call me right away. It doesn't matter what time it is, okay? Sorry, I've been a little out of it the past few days. I keep drifting off, Freya said, and that at least was true. She was actually kind of enjoying the drifting feeling. It seemed like everything was less important. It's common for people who are discontinuing Lunesta. It should pass within a week or so. If you feel yourself starting to have a panic attack or start having intrusive thoughts, call me right away. Anytime, day or night, okay? Okay, thank you. This has been really helpful, Freya said, and Dr. Garboglio seemed a little touched as he nodded. Touched. You're doing fantastic. We're almost through the week. On the subject of dreams, do you have any you can remember? He asked. No, Freya lied. You're doing fantastic. We're almost through for the week. We have a few minutes left. On the subject of dreams, have you had any memorable ones lately? No, Freya lied. Okay, I like that. What do we... It's a page. We spend a page on her, like, fucking spacing out and thinking about English class. I'm not sold on it. I'm really not sold on it, but I'm going to leave it in for right now. Okay. So, generally, like, strong work on that chapter. I think we did an okay job of setting up Dark Garboglio a little bit. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 8.5 pages there. Okay, so that's not too bad for when do we start this shit? Like for about a 3-hour session. That's about our rate. So if we think about it, if it takes me 3 hours to do 8 pages, then I'm getting through like almost 3 pages an hour. Fuck. Which means that if we have a fucking 583 pages left, or what if we have 585 pages left, because I can actually do math, and it's 3 pages an hour, then we, so Salt Gang says, failed author, free incog. I really don't give a fuck about incog. Yeah, like the only person who's really asked to have him back has been Jewbird. So, like Jewbird's barely been in the chat at all the past several weeks. I think he's busy getting shot up with some kind of Thai bird flu vaccine or something like that. So yeah, not appropriate here. Fuck that guy. Yeah, my life has been much better since he's been gone. So I think it's a good choice to get rid of that character. Poison fucking people. Anyhow, Juber, do me a solid and fucking subscribe to the YouTube channel on all your accounts. We're almost to 100 subscribers, and I would love to get that custom URL. That'd be fucking amazing right there. But I'm too cheap to spend the money to get a bunch of Pakistani people to subscribe to it with their compromised computer accounts. All right, shout outs to Salt Gang there for a good stream. You watched like 5 minutes of this? Well, I've been struggling with this chapter for 3 fucking hours. So yeah, like, I mean, if we really think about it, we just have like about fucking, I'm trying to do the math here, but just like another, I don't know, like another 240 hours or so of doing this. So that's not too bad. So it'd just be 10 days of working nonstop. That's not actually how it would work out there. Okay. Thank you. This has been really helpful, Dr. Gerbo. All right. Yeah, I'm out of mana. One thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to go back over to that chapter. We're going to go straight into chapter 28, The Return of Lassa. Okay, so thank you for people who joined the stream and earnestly contributed. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on. We had like our all kinds of drama in the chat or whatever there. But we did get the one good comment from Logic that I liked, so it's not all in vain. And we're going to keep doing it every day. Can't stop, won't stop. All right. I'll catch y'all later. Y'all be good.